Good pseudo night. I'm your host, Master Goffrin, and this is a Let's Play Eternal Daughter. I off-screened a little bit of ammo collection, so I'm going to load a different save. So here we are on the outskirts of the Grodol area. There are actually surprisingly few of them around. The one up here should be currently out of our reach, but there's no reason to ever come back here, so I have a little trick up my sleeve for talking to him, or her. Only the Lorians seem to have clearly defined genders. The static power-ups you can find in each area reappear every time you leave and come back, so I pretty much just ran back and forth to farm up some ammo. Anyway, you'll recall that breaking the animation for our slides gives us super speed. Another option for breaking the animation is holding down the charged attack, although it only really works with the regular slide, since you also need to hold the direction you want to go in. That given, it's much more reliable for achieving maximum speed, which you really do need here. You end up moving so fast you can even keep up with your own fireball. Hurrah, we made it, and only just. This guy gives a shout out to Black Eye, which is a fourth wall breaking Easter egg, being that that's the name the developers were operating under at the time. There are a few Easter eggs hidden in the game, and this is the first one we've come across. A few of them actually count towards the completion percentage in your save file, but the rest are just for fun. And I should emphasise that isn't the intended method of getting up there, but it is the most convenient one for the LP. So apparently, the Grodol's king, From, has been infested by something horrible. Let's find out what. Oh dear, I can assure you that this gets worse before it gets better. Okay, so From is one of those sequential bosses which change as you defeat parts of them. The first stage is you destroy parts of his ruined body, his belly, arm, shoulder and jaw. All the while the creepy blue worms wriggle out to get you. In addition, bats fly in from the edges of the screen as well, regularly enough that their flapping noises become meaningless. However, there are also power-up delivery systems which can make or break the fight for you. This fight was a pain to record because of how random this first part is. One key element that causes that is that you can't hit both a worm and the boss with a single attack, which makes it tough to avoid the hits while dismembering him. As a result, I switched to using the hammers to take out his shoulder. Once you've taken out all 4 parts, you can destroy his body. This kind of speaks for itself. Now worms are shooting out everywhere, and it's dangerous to get close, which is inconvenient since you need to take out his legs. However, for some reason you can actually move through his legs without getting hurt, and they are in fact the safest place to stand. Once you take out one leg, the other dies automatically and he falls down. Of course, he keeps on trucking, but now we're on his final weak point, the head. He's probably at his least dangerous at this point, although the worms and bats can definitely still kill you. You have quite a few choices for finishing him off, either risking jump attacks or using hammers from short range, or perhaps more sensibly retreating to the raised areas and using daggers or charged shots. You can jump over him if you need to, either from the raised areas or with the double jump if you have it, and he does eventually get close enough to the platform for you to pile normal melee attacks into him. So it goes that From has been defeated. There's nothing else in his throne room and he didn't drop anything, so let's move on. So the Grodol have joined our cause. Just as Mia hadn't heard of the Grodol, they hadn't heard of either the Lorians or the Shulin before. I guess that explains the confusion earlier. The ones out here say new things, although this one has an actual typo, showing its name as Gideon again. Already a few words that Prador used have cropped up, and you can begin to decode what's being said. The short of it is that Mokrom and Fardon to some extent recognised me as power. Since our affairs with the Grodol are completed, all that's left is to check we've explored everywhere down here and return to the surface. I'm going to ride the fast forward button fairly heavily for both the caves and the mines, since there's not too much left to show and the previous updates have been a little dry. There are a few nooks and crannies around that we can't get to, but many of these, including ones in other areas, only contain ammunition power-ups, which has always left me feeling a little bit disappointed when I find somewhere hidden. Here's somewhere we didn't go before, to the left of the skeleton. There's a couple of static power-ups here, but they're tough enough to get to that you'd probably end up worse off trying to get them. I also landed on the slime when it didn't have its spikes out, and only did 2 damage, which both makes sense and is nice to catalogue. There's a good chance that the Grodol that's on guard duty now says something different as well, so let's go see what he has to say. So apparently he's guarding somewhere sacred that we can't go to yet. However, it seemed like maybe there was something above us. Well, if there is anything up there, it's out of reach for now. I think that's everywhere, so now it's time to return to the mines. This is the area with the attack upgrade that can make everything easier. Step 1 in obtaining it is to make things safe by killing all the bad guys. The random bats will keep on coming, but they're not too big a deal. Speaking of attack upgrades, you can totally get to From without the arc component to your attack, which makes dealing with those worms as they squirm around a complete nightmare. Now that we have a clean run to this section, we can see about getting up there. It's too high to jump up to from below, so what are our options? If you use the slide to get extra speed, you move so fast that you run clear over the hole. If you back off a bit though, and only go slightly faster, you can pull this off. I think this is probably my favourite abuse of game mechanics for personal gain, and this is abusing them, so again, I'm not going to pick up this power up either. I did want to show you the difficulty of ascending through this mineshaft, but honestly with the hit points and attack power we have now, it just didn't come across. From here our objective is to return to Blue Mountain to see the Elder. However, before that, let's grab that life upgrade in the Dungarga city. Above us, just out of reach, is a little hideaway. Who knows what treasures it might contain. Here we go, you can ascend this section with just the wall jump, although I messed it up here and double jumped instead. That's pretty much all there is to it. In addition, there's another little hideaway spot just above here. And now that we have the double jump, we can explore the area across from the Dungarga city. Sadly, it's walled off by plot, this stone wall blocking our passage. And back in Blue Mountain, we can reach the health upgrade at the top of this area now as well, so that'll bring us up to 12. In addition to that, we can take the shortcut back up to the Shulin. And there we go, next time we'll see what the Shulin Elder believes our next course of action should be. Hopefully he won't be infested with nightmare worms. See you then!